Hello everybody, Math 12 Quarter 1, Week 1 lesson plans. Let's go right into Math 12 Quarter 1, Week 1 lesson plans, where you get a PowerPoint edition and video edition, and you should take your diagnostic test first, students, to make sure you qualify to get into Math 12 Quarter 1. Students, put your name and date here. Let's go right into Math 12 Quarter 1 Week 1 lessons. So we have a pretest. We have a pre-calc pretest for Quarter 1. And for our lessons, we start out 1.1, lines in the plane, classwork part 1, part 2, part 3, 1.1 lines in a plane for homework part 1, 2, and 3. Then we go to 2.1 quadratic functions, classwork part 1, part 2. Then 2.1 quadratic functions, homework part 1, part 2. And then the standards that we have here is here. I think I should have a blow up on that. I think it's Common Core FIF.9, compare properties of two functions, each represented in a different way, that is algebraically, graphically, numerically, in tables or by verbal descriptions. So we get into quadratics, and we're going to also get into functions and their graphs. How their graphs are, you can tell by their graphs what they are. And then learning targets is use slope to identify parallel and perpendicular lines. That'd be from the algebraic representation. And then analyze graphs or quadratic functions. So we're going to do that here for week 1 of Math 12. And then our resources, materials, animated PowerPoints, and/or MP4 versions of all lessons, classwork, homework, quiz, test, worksheets. So your lessons are going to be in animated PowerPoints and video. And then you can access those 24/7. Activities and tasks, all classwork sheets are closed exercised, meaning you got to fill in the blanks of the lesson sheets from PowerPoints or videos, homework, quizzes, tests, assignments, available online with corrections provided after submission date, so you get all corrections and explanations. And then access for all. Available in over 100 languages, available online 24/7, closed caption for hearing impaired, audio for sight impaired. And then your classwork points are 214 for week 1, 18 points in note taking, 444 points of homework. And then your test, you have your pretest is 29 points, and then the total for week 1 is 705 points. And then going back, modifications and accommodations available online via Google Classroom interface. You get a password to your Google Classroom. That is grades, classwork, homework, quizzes, tests, Zoom tutoring on request. And then we start out here with, again, our pretest, pre-calc quarter 1 pretest right here. We start you out with this. Students, see if you can get into this course. And then once you can get in with a passing grade, we go into 1.1 lines in the plane. And that's classwork of 40 points for 1.1 part 1. 1.1 part 2. And this is classwork for 36 points. For part 2, you got 4 points here of note taking. And then we go 1.1 part 3 classwork, 32 points, 4 points of note taking. And then we go into our homework here, 1.1 part 1 homework, 96 points on part 1. And then part 2, 1.1 homework is 76 points. And then moving on here through week 1, we're still in week 1, we're probably like Wednesday here. We got our homework here, part 3 is 72 points. And then we go into 2.1, quadratic functions. We just go into that, classwork 22 points for part 1 here, 2.1 quadratic functions. Part 2 quadratic functions, got 34 points here, classwork. And then 2.1, part 1 homework, 112 points here for your part 1 homework. And then part 2 homework is 88 points for your part 2 homework. And then solutions are provided after the due date of the assignment. And then, so if you have any questions or requests, animated PowerPoint math video at AOL.com for questions or course materials. Thank you very much.